All together. Rahe virde zuban shi'ana de Ali. Rahe virde zuban shi'ana de Ali. Pare mushkil to ke hai domad Ali ka naam bhi नाम खुदा राहत जहाँ है अली का नाम भी नाम हिर्ज़े तिफला है अली का नाम भी नाम खुदा तेगे जवां है लिया नाम अली तो बाला सब तली अर्शे आज़म फैली काहे नाम अली परे मुश्किल तो क्या है दो मद या अली रहे विर्दे ज़ुबान नादे अली परे मुश्किल तो क्या है इलाही वास्ता तुझको मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा का इलाही वास्ता तुझको अली मुर्तज़ा का इलाही वास्ता तुझको हसनैन और फातिमा का रहे माँ हमारे सलामत सदा मोमिनों को न हो कोई रंजो बला परे मुश्किल तो क्या है दो मदद या अली रहे विर्दे ज़ुबान शिआना दे अली रहे विर्दे ज़ुबान शिआना दे अली परे मुश्किल तो क्या है दो मोहम्मद वाली मोहम्मद सलावत
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद फातिमा ज़हरा वो है दर की दुआ अब्बास है फातिमा ज़हरा वो है दर की दुआ अब्बास है फातिमा ज़हरा वो है दर की दुआ अब्बास है फातिमा ज़हरा वो है दर की दुआ अब्बास है बेसहारों का जहां में आसरा अब्बास है बेसहारों का जहां में आसरा अब्बास है हर तरफ ये शोर है, मैदान में हैदर आ गए। हर तरफ ये शोर है, मैदान में हैदर आ गए। क्यों न शक हो दूसरों को, लड़ रहा अब्बास है। क्यों न शक हो दूसरों को, लड़ रहा अब्बास है। फातिमा ज़हरा से लेकर दुनियादारों को यहाँ, फातिमा ज़हरा से लेकर दुनियादारों को यहाँ, सदक़े बाली सकीना बांटता अब्बास है। सदक़े बाली सकीना बांटता अब्बास है। करबला में आज भी दो शेर हैं ठहरे हुए। करबला में आज भी दो शेर हैं ठहरे हुए। एक तो शबीर है और दूसरा अब्बास है। एक तो शबीर है और दूसरा अब्बास है। क्या लिखे दरवेश गाजी की वफादारी यहाँ। क्या लिखे दरवेश गाजी की वफादारी यहाँ। जान लो इतना वफाओं का खुदा अब्बास है। जान लो इतना वफाओं का खुदा अब्बास है। बेसहारों का जहां में आसरा अब्बास है। फातिमा ज़हरा वो है दर की दुआ अब्बास है। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद।
Assalamu alaikum. Tonight is 4th of Shaban, and we are celebrating the Wiladat of Babul Hawaij Abul Fazl Abbas alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thanks for all the wonderful recitations. For speaker, we have a visiting speaker. Thanks to Maulana Sayyid Hassan Mushtaba for coming all the way and celebrating this occasion with us. He'll be delivering the lecture shortly after the announcements, inshallah. Just to quickly go through our upcoming programs, as I mentioned, this is a blessed month of Shaban. We have this whole week program. Tomorrow will be the 5th night, and that will be the Wiladat of Ali Imam Zainul Abdin alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, do attend tomorrow's program also. Again, we'll start 7 o'clock with Isha Jama Salat, followed by the program, and lecture will be by Rasul Alim Maulana Sayyid Saghir Hussain. Thursday, regular Shabbat Juma program starting at usual time of 7 o'clock with Isha Jama Salat, followed by the recitation. Juma Salat 12:34 as usual, and on Saturday morning we do Fajr Jama Salat. So ladies, gents, anyone who can join us on Saturdays, we do every Saturday 6 o'clock the Jama Salat for Fajr, inshallah. Let's remember all those people who are no longer with us and they were part of the community, wonderful community for all these years, and they cannot stay with us all this. For all those people, I'll be reciting those names. Marhumeen of Ghulam Hussain Mauladina family, Ghulam Hussain Khaki family, Musa Virji family, Amin Nanji Kara family, Ramzan Ali Manik, Leela Bai Manik, Amir Basundar Ji, Hassan Rahim, Yusuf Ali, Ghulam Hussain Mauladina, all our Marhumeen of volunteers, and the people who sponsor tonight Niyaz, for all of them, Kul Mu'mineen and Mu'minat, Muslimin and Muslimat. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Allahumma ighfir lil mu'minina Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Couple of last requests. So for Ramadan, I've been announcing anyone interested in sponsoring Ramadan, contact anyone in the management. We can help you out with details. And one request, if I can request everyone to come a little bit towards member. This way we don't have disturbance, people coming late. And with loud salawat, I'll request Maulana Sayyid Asad Mushtaba to start his lecture. Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the one who is independent in existence, and everything else is dependent in existence to Him. The reason I made this statement is to perhaps get into a concept which will indicate the practical aspect of the celebration that we are here for today. The birth of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, Babul Hawaij, is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the blessing, when you receive you understand the blessing. And when you understand how this blessing relates to you in your life, and you see the benefit, that is when a person will be joyful, happy, and grateful. If there is no benefit of the blessing, then that person will not be happy nor grateful. So if this day is going to be a day of happiness for us, we need to understand the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon us by giving us the personality of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. The reason why I'm so uncomfortable sitting in front of you is because this seat that I'm on, as you can see, is not very big. But there's a bigger seat behind me. This seat, the place of it is of a masoom. If a ghair masoom decides to sit down on that seat, they better be in a state of utter, absolute sincerity, because they are going to be answerable on the Day of Judgment. Unfortunately, of this mimbar, we don't have the sanctity as it should. We invite people who have the love of this world inside of their hearts, who are not here to perform a duty based on the submission to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they're looking for some appreciation, flattery, money, fame, fortune, and an invitation to come back. And then in regards to how they speak, they will speak in a manner that is either out of fear or out of greed. And that destroys the sanctity of this mimbar. The responsibility is that grave that if someone decides to sit down on that seat, which is the seat of the Holy Prophet and Ahlul Bayt al-Musallam, they better have some sort of light of character of theirs, or they will be judged on the Day of Judgment that fast that no individual will ever be judged. In traditions, I have not seen anything more faster of a judgment than the one who sits down on the mimbar. It says that when this person takes their step down, either their step down is in heaven or in hell. The judgment is that fast. The other aspect of it is the audience. Unfortunately, the audience are there just to have some sort of relief from the day-to-day stress. They're here for a sort of a social club where they get to see people. They don't understand that there is a responsibility of gaining knowledge. That every single piece of knowledge that you and I have grasped, we're going to be answerable for that, whether we did act on it or we did not. And then on top of that, if there's a person, for example, there are reciters who come and say, "Jab se maine Ali ko Khuda kaha hai, khilkat Khuda mere piche pad gayi." They will be in poetry doing utter, absolute, clear shirk. Clear shirk. No doubt about that. Not that a person would be in doubt whether it's shirk or not, whether they are going in the boundary of shirk and tawheed. No, utter shirk. And the audience, they do not do their responsibility to stop that person. That what are you doing? They'll just come, listen, who cares? Everyone sitting has the responsibility on the Day of Judgment that they're going to be asked for. There's no such thing as neutrality in Islam. There's nothing of neutrality in Islam. If you do not speak, you will be liable with the same people that are the oppressors that you and I did not speak against. If you see wrong happening, the roots of Tawheed being destroyed, and you and I don't speak, we will be asked and punished for the same crimes that the person is doing. You can write that whatever you want. There is no neutrality in Islam. The reason is that we've lost courage. Well, they said that I can speak a few words in Urdu as well. हकीकत में मुसलमान बुज़दिल हो गया है. अब मुसलमान शुजा नहीं है. मुसलमान बुज़दिल हो चुका है. जबकि कि उसकी जो शहादतैन वो देता है वो शुजात का इजहार है, वो बुज़दिली का इजहार नहीं है. वो कहता है कि मैं गवाही देता हूं कि कोई और मेरा इलाह नहीं है सिवाय अल्लाह के. ये बुज़दिली की स्टेटमेंट नहीं है. यानी हर झूठे इलाह को वो कहता है कि मेरा तू खुदा नहीं. He says to money, you're not my God. He says to power, to fortune, to fame, to the glitter and glamour of this world, you're not my God. He says to every single deception and falsehood, you're not my God. Every samri, every deceiver, he says, you're not my God. Ilah means someone that you submit to. Ilah can be, it's not just Khuda is a Farsi word. Allah is from Ilah. When you put Alif Lam in front of Ilah, it becomes Allah. There are people, from the light of the Holy Quran, there are people who have made their lowly desires as their Ilah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do you not see those people? Lowly desires, those desires are going to keep you on this earth and not let you go towards what's your birthright to go to A'la Aliyin. That's your birthright. To go to those heights that no other creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reach. Why? Because you and I have been given the potential to become the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has placed us in this earth to become the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The representation in totality is of the Imam of the time, is of Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim, is of the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And because of that representation, the ones who follow, they also become in their own following to the degree that they follow the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Dua Joshin Kabir, you've had, one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who feeds a small child. जब इंसान एक छोटे तिफ्ल सगीर को खाना खिलाता है तो वो खुदा के एक नाम की वो निशानी बन रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि राज़िक खुदा की ज़ात है. राज़िक खुदा की ज़ात है, लेकिन अगर उसकी नियाबत में आप किसी को रिस्क दे रहे हैं तो वो आपका रिस्क तो नहीं है, वो रिस्क खुदा का ही है. आप उसकी नियाबत में दे रहे हैं. The problem that becomes for human beings, and that's, you can think about it, if anything else comes out as the root problem of humanity, you can let me know. The root problem of humanity is that when a human being forgets that they are a dependent being, they act as if they are independent and God. जब इंसान भूल जाता है कि वो कितना मोहताज है, वो कितना फ़कीर है, वो कितना आजिज़ है, तब फिर वो कहने लग जाता है अना रब्बकुमुल आला. तब वो गुनाह भी करेगा, वो अपनी शहवात को पूरा भी करेगा, लोगों के हकूक़ को भी मारेगा, will ruin the rights of others. If you look at the tyrants of today, the best example is of the President of the United States. 86 years old, was also losing its memory, right? Can't even walk properly, can't go up the steps, right? He cannot even talk. He's 86 years old, fragile. I don't know how many heart attacks they've had. His health condition Maybe a 5-year-old child would be stronger than him. But what does he say? Ana rabbakumul a'la. I'm the representative of the superpower of the world. Either you're with us or against us. If that person was to look at his own dependency, would realize that there is no power there yet. It is those fools who have decided to become a coward that have given the power to those individuals who are the weakest on this planet. This is one example. Very perfect. Clear example. So what is the problem? The problem is that we forget that we are utterly dependent. ये इसको हिदायत ऊला भी कहते हैं कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने ये हर इंसान की फितरत में डाला है कि वो अगर अपने अंदर झांक के देखेगा तो उसे सवाए फ़क्र की और कोई चीज़ नज़र नहीं आएगी. इसमें दीन क्या नॉलेज होना ज़रूरी नहीं. You don't need to have religious knowledge to realize that you are an absolute dependent. I can go through some exercises, you can think about it. You are dependent on oxygen right now. If there is no oxygen, you will not be able to exist. True? Are you independent of oxygen? If you're that great, independent, I can exist. Okay, don't breathe. सांस रोक लो. In our body, there are over 100 trillion unicell organisms. Only 10% of those are the cells that we got from our mom and dad. The rest are viruses and bacteria. And you are hosting them for a number of 60, 70, 80 years. When over 300 of the same unicell organisms decide they're not going to talk to each other, your body develops cancer. Out of 100 trillion, only 300 or so decide they're not going to talk to each other. They become free agents, and you get cancer. This is how dependent you are. If what you eat does not come out, what you eat does not come out, you will go on a machine that you will be dependent of. Dialysis. This is the last example. I'm sure you need to do your homework to realize, to go through these examples. Otherwise, we will not go forward. One, and it's most recent, one unicell organism that does not even fulfill the 6 conditions of life, which is called a virus. Right? It doesn't fulfill all 6 conditions of what we have classified as life. It only fulfills 3. What did it do? It brought 8 billion people on their knees. They're very powerful. They're very sophisticated. You have a lot of technology. You were imprisoned in your own homes by a unicell organism. A mother could not see the son could not see the mother. In the same house, in one room, a person has become a prisoner, cannot see the rest of his family for 14 days. हमारी औकात क्या है? क्या समझता है इंसान अपने आप को? तकब्बुर. किस चीज का तकब्बुर? अभी कुछ लोग ऐसे बैठे होंगे जैसे पता नहीं वो क्या चीज है. क्या वो? पैसा है. पैसा, दौलत जो है अरबी का लफ्ज है, वो कहते हैं उस चीज को जो एक हाथ से दूसरे हाथ में जाती है. सेहत है. आज सुबह कल उठोगे, डॉक्टर के जाओगे अगर तुम्हें 2 महीने जिंदगी. कैंसर, बीपी. किस चीज पे हमें फख्र है? औकात क्या है? क्योंकि इंसान अपनी औकात भूल जाता है, इस वजह से जो बाकी की खुदा की हिदायत वो पा नहीं सकते. When a person forgets that they're completely, utterly dependent, what do? They try to seek out someone who's independent. They try to seek out the one who is going to fulfill every single need that they have. And with the rational mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, we will not go to someone who themselves is dependent. Does it make sense? If I need something, I'm going to go to someone who is not dependent of someone else. I'm going to go to the source. I'm not going to get stuck in the middle. This is rational. So there is no one else when human beings start searching who is independent in existence other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore you see every single human being from the very beginning till now has always sought someone to call God. Why? It's because it's in it. It's in our nature. The reason why we forget, reason why we become this way is we forget our dependency. If you remember your dependency, you will have no other choice but to connect to the one who is independent. I started off by telling you that Muslims have become cowards. If you still don't think my statement is correct, look around the world. Look around the world. There are even people who sit down here and will perform like Jummah Salat and Khutbah. They do not have the courage to actually say the name Palestine. They don't have the courage to say Zionism. They don't have the courage to call the name Israel. They don't have the courage to call apartheid. They don't have the courage to call genocide. They do not even want to say the word. And you go in Bethlehem and you find a Christian on the Christmas day delivering a sermon, which even not even 1% is delivered from our pulpits in Bethlehem. He's more brave. He's a Christian. How did he get the bravery? Because he felt connected to the little children and women and the oppression that was going on. He felt connected. He said, me, on the level that I'm a human being, these are human beings, they're children, they're women, they're bombing hospitals, they're bombing schools. It's genocide. 11,000 plus more children have been martyred, been killed. मुसलमान क्या है? बेहिस. और ताज्जुब और हंसी भी, ताज्जुब भी आता है उन लोगों पे जो कहते हैं कि मैं मानता हूं अबुल फजल अब्बास को. हंसी आती है उन पे, उनको देख के हंसी आती है. तुम अबुल फजल अब्बास के मानने वाले हो? हाँ? Hazrat Abbas ﷺ, I know you're listening very attentively. If you like, you can recite a salawat. Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas ﷺ was, from the very beginning, before of his beginning, Imam Ali ﷺ chose certain things that would be embodiment of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, and one of them happens to be courage. Is the embodiment of loyalty. But how can you become loyal when you are courageous? You cannot be loyal when you are a coward, because a coward's loyalty is only to self. जो बुज़दिल होता है वो सिर्फ वफा अपने आप से करता है, दूसरों का उसको क्या. When you are a courageous person, only then you can be loyal. Loyal to whom? Loyal to the Imam of the time. Loyal to who? To the religious duties. Loyal to who? To the religious principles. Loyal to who? To the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us in the Holy Quran. फिर ही बंदा वफादार हो सकता, वरना तो बुज़दिल तो वफादार नहीं होता. So what is courage? Now English is a very narrow language, and it is one of the most difficult languages in the world. There's over 2 million words that you have to remember as a vocab, and a lot of the words that are written, they don't even sound the same. Like a lot of the people, and there are newcomers, they'll say jalapeno and it's jalapeno. Right? But everybody speaks English. And one of the easiest languages in the world is actually Arabic. And हम बच्चों को इंग्लिश स्कूल में डालेंगे, इंग्लिश ट्यूशन रखेंगे, इंग्लिश मीडियम में पढ़ा के पाकिस्तान में फ़ख्र करेंगे. वो ज़बान जो एक आइलैंड की, एक जजीरे की है. इंग्लैंड जो है एक जजीरा है, एक आइलैंड है, बहुत छोटा सा है. उसकी ज़बान पे हम तवज्जो देंगे और बोलने में फ़ख्र महसूस करेंगे. हम अपने आप को एजुकेटेड, वी विल फील एजुकेटेड इफ वी स्पीक इन इंग्लिश. I mean, there is no other, you cannot be more insecure about yourself when speaking a language makes you feel as if you are an alim. Not knowledge, just that you are able to speak a language. You have to be very insecure. You must have like nothing to be secure about. अगर कोई बंदा इंग्लिश बोलता है, कहते हैं बहुत बड़ा बंदा है. छोटा बंदा नहीं होगा, इंग्लिश बोलता है. और अगर हमें वो जो नहीं, अगर इंग्लिश में एक्सेंट हमारा इंडियन हो जाए, पाकिस्तानी हो जाए, उस पर भी हमें मसला हो जाता है कि मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं है. शर्माते हैं हम, और फिर कोशिश करते हैं कि वही जो उस आइलैंड के लोगों की जैसे वो एक्सेंट है वो बनाएं, जोर लगा के. ये ज़्यादा हम पाकिस्तानियों में, अगर आप इंडियंस को देखें तो उनमें नहीं है ये. वो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में पढ़ा रहे हैं अपने एक्सेंट के साथ, उनको केयर नहीं है. आईटी में है, बड़े बड़ी कंपनियों के वो सीईओ, वो अपने एक्सेंट में बोलते हैं. Arabic is one of the easiest languages to learn. So, for Hazrat Abul Fadl al-Abbas, the core is courage. I forgot what time I started, but I think it's been half an hour. Yes. They asked me for 45 minutes because we don't have the courage to listen to someone for more than an hour. Our attention span is 8 to 12 seconds. After 8 seconds, the focus goes somewhere else, and the person has to bring it back. Right? It used to be 35 minutes in the 70s, in the 2000s, it was still like 15, 18 minutes. In like 2018, the attention span is 8 to 12 seconds. Right? So what is courage? Right? I'll try to connect the dots. For every human being, it's in their nature to find that they are dependent. Once they find out that they are dependent, they seek someone who's independent. And in that search to find someone who's independent, once they reach him, they say, I bear witness, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And after that they have realized that it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is independent and no one else, then they say the second statement, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. What they understand is that if I am going to connect to this independent, I need a wasila. I cannot connect to this independent without wasila. And that wasila has to have a criteria. that wasila has to be the abd of Allah. If it's not the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it cannot be my means to get to that independent which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once connected to the absolute, will have everything that is absolute. Why? Because it's just a mirror. Abd is nothing but just a mirror. Abd जो होता है वो एक शीशा है, सिर्फ शीशा है. शीशे का काम क्या है कि जो उसके सामने है उसको मुनक्किस कर दे. शीशा खुद से कुछ नहीं करता. वजन लोग तस्वीर खींचते कहते तस्वीर तुमने मेरी सही नहीं उतारी. भाई अब कैमरे ने जो देखा वही उतारेगा ना, वो कोई और तो नहीं कर सकता. कैमरे का इसमें क्या कसूर है? तस्वीर उतारने वाला क्या कसूर? शीशे में जो दिखेगा वो शीशे का कसूर नहीं है, जो है वो शीशा दिखाएगा. So the Holy Prophet is the mirror which reflects all of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It projects every single quality of Allah. If you want to see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at that mirror. You want to see the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at that mirror. You want to see the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at that mirror. You want to see the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at that mirror. You want to see the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at that mirror. So who becomes brave and who becomes coward? A person came to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. The person said to Imam, he said, you are very brave. Imam said, no, you are braver than me. उर्दू में भी कह देते. बंदा आया इमाम के पास कहता है कि आप बहुत बहादुर हैं. इमाम ने कहा नहीं, तुम मेरे से ज़्यादा बहादुर हो. So he was perplexed. I mean, here's a person who's lifted Khyber, thrown it. You know, an army has gone over that bridge, a door which 80 people with one side, you know, like. He's saying, no, you're braver than me. He was perplexed. Imam said, he goes, why do you say I'm brave? He said, because you aren't afraid of people. Right? He said to Imam, because you're not afraid of people, that's why you are brave. क्योंकि आप लोगों से नहीं डरते इसलिए आप बहादुर हैं. तो इमाम ने कहा ठीक है मैं लोगों से नहीं डरता लेकिन मैं खुदा से डरता हूं. तुम तो वो हो जो खुदा से नहीं डरते. The person said to Imam that you're very brave. Why are you very brave? Because you're not afraid of people. Imam said, no, I'm afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, you're braver than me. Why? Because you're not afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. इंसान देखिए किसको दुश्मन बना रहा है. जब वो गुनाह करता है किसको दुश्मन बना रहा है. When we sin, who are we making an enemy of? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is our witness in sin? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is there when no one else is looking at you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is closer than your own awareness of I? Hablul Warid. In the symbolic term, it means that you are aware of yourself, but someone is more aware of yourself than you are of yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you know who's a courageous person? शुजा पता कौन होता है? अब आपको डेफिनेशन दे देते हैं, आप सोचिएगा. शुजा वो होता है जो खुदा की इताअत करता है और बुज़दिल वो होता है जो खुदा की नाफरमानी. आपने बहुत आसानी से सुन लिया. इसमें आप मेरी तरफ ना देखें, कोई सोचने की बात नहीं है. जो मैंने कहा ऐसे ही है. The one who disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a coward. The one who obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a courageous person. हो गई? You're looking at me as if this is not it. No, this is it. This is absolutely it. And if I wanted to take more of your time, I can go into explanation, but I'll take the example of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas. The image that we have of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas is of a very tall person. Although, because of Karbala now, this image does not have arms. Of a very physically strong person. What we fail to imagine him as, because perhaps we were never given that information so that we can have him in our imagination as such, was on his forehead was the mark of sujood as it is the knee of a camel. जब हज़रत अबुल फ़ज़ल अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम का आप तसव्वुर लेकर आते हैं तो एक कवि, एक बुलंद क़ामत इंसान हमारे तसव्वुर में आता है, लेकिन जिस चीज़ को अभी तक हम तसव्वुर में जब हज़रत अब्बास का सोचते नहीं लाते हैं कि उनके माथे पे उस तरह से सजूद का निशान था जैसे कि घुटना होता है ऊंट का। हम करबला के अंदर उनकी शुजात का जिक्र करते हैं, जंगों में उनकी शुजात का जिक्र करते हैं, लेकिन आप मुझे इंसाफ से बताइएगा कि आपके 47, 50, 60, 70 ईयर्स में कभी किसी शख्स ने हज़रत अबुल फ़ज़ल अब्बास के जो इबादत के फ़ज़ाइल हैं वो पढ़ें? कि वो कितने बड़े आबिद थे, आप बताएं मुझे। Did anyone of your whatever amount of life that you have ever went into detail about the worship that Hazrat Abbas did? About the number of sujood and salah that Hazrat Abbas did? About the condition of his forehead, that it was as if it was the knee of a camel? See, the way for the youth, if you want to understand, when you prostrate, and you prostrate on dirt and on sand, when you prostrate, the forehead would become injured. You would get a wound on your forehead, and blood would come out. And when this wound would heal, it would make a callus. And then if you continue doing that much worship, this callus will stop bleeding again. And once this callus bleeds again, it will heal again. And if you continue, it will continue going through the same process until to the point that it will come out of the forehead in a black sort of brusion, or like you can say like a small circle, but it will be perpetuating, like it will be coming out. That's why the example is given of a knee of a camel. If you haven't seen the knee of a camel, you can do that, search it out. The amount of worship and sujood that you have to do to be able to get to that. And when we think about Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, we only think about his bravery in the battlefield. No one tells us about his worship. It was the worship and the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave him the courage. Why? Because he obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one who obeys is the one who is courageous. The people, if you look at the history of the Holy Prophet, the ones who ran from the battlefield. Have you ever seen in the history of the life of the Holy Prophet that Imam Ali ever ran from the battlefield? Have you ever heard? No. What was the secret of the courage of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam? And in for Hazrat Abul Fazl al-Abbas, and of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, and of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam, and of Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam, and of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. It was the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person came to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, and we're almost out of time. He looked at what he was eating. It was a very stale bread, which was hard to even break. And Imam was eating that. And he comes up to him and goes, "Are you the same person who lifted Khaybar?" Imam said, "Yes, I am." I mean, he looked at the food, like for the youths, they're more courageous if they go to the gym and make a lot of muscles. They feel courageous. It's not your physical strength that is going to make you courageous. Look at yourself. Every sin that you commit, that much you are and I am a coward. तो उसने कहा कि आप वही हो जिसने खैबर उठाया था। इमाम ने कहा हाँ मैं वही हूँ। उसने कहा साथ है कि इमाम के, तो वो कंफ्यूज हो गया। इमाम ने कहा कि मैंने खैबर को अपने बाजू की ताकत से नहीं उठाया था, मैंने खैबर को उठाया था अपने ईमान की ताकत से। Imam Ali ﷺ said that I didn't lift Khaybar from the power of my arm, I lifted Khaybar because of the conviction I have in Allah. When you have conviction in Allah and you connect to the absolute powerful, yes, you can not only lift one Khaybar, but 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000 Khaybars if they come. Kyun? Because your power source is absolute. एक नहीं 10 आए, ट्रिलियन आए, अनलिमिटेड खैबर आ जाए, इमाम अली अलैहिस्सलाम ने उसी तरह से उनको उठाना था जैसे उन्होंने पहले को उठाया। क्यों? क्योंकि इमाम अली अलैहिस्सलाम अब्द हैं खुदा के। जब इंसान अब्द बन जाता है तो वसल हो जाता है उस ताकत से जो कि एब्सोल्यूट है, ला महदूद है, उसके अंदर कोई हद नहीं। So the secret of Hazrat Abul Fadl al-Abbas is courage, the secret of Imam Ali alayhi courage, the secret of the Holy Prophet's courage. Awwaluna Muhammad, Awsatuna Muhammad, Kulluna Muhammad, Akhiruna Muhammad, Kulluna Muhammad salawat. So the secret of all of their courage was that they were the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They knew that they are utterly dependent, they seek the independent, they connected to that independent, and then they became the mirrors of all of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we are supposed to emulate. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Indeed, the best example and the only example is the Holy Prophet. इमाम अली अलैहिस्सलाम अव्वलुना मोहम्मद, इमाम अली अलैहिस्सलाम वो आईना है जिसमें रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की तमाम सिफ़ात मुनक्किस हुई। रसूल के अंदर कौन सी सिफ़ात थी? सारी की सारी जो खुदा में थी। तो इमाम अली अलैहिस्सलाम आयत अकबर है, ठीक, इसलिए वो आयत अकबर है, सबसे बड़ी निशानी है खुदा की। इस तरह से फिर एक और आईना है, हसन है, हुसैन है, सज्जाद है, बाकर है, इमाम जाफर सादिक, इमाम मूसा काजिम, इमाम रज़ा, इमाम अली, तकी नकी, इमाम हसन एंड इमाम ज़मान अलैहिस्सलाम। हमें उनको अपना उसवा बनाना है। मतलब क्या? कि आपके आईने में भी कुछ खुदा की सिफात मुनक्किस होनी चाहिए। There should be some in us that should reflect, no, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some mercy, some love, some forgiveness, some generosity, some strength, some sabr, something. Why doesn't it not reflect? Because this mirror is the dirtiest out there. Why does it not reflect? Because this mirror is dirty. You take a dirty mirror, you put the most beautiful thing in front of it, it will not reflect. सबसे खूबसूरत तरीन आप किसी शीशा जो कि गंदा उसके सामने रख दो, वो चीज़ उसके अंदर मुनक्किस नहीं करेगी जब तक कि शीशा साफ ना किया. और ये गंद क्या है? What is this dirt on this mirror? The dirt is the love of this world, the love of the lowly desires, the love of power, the love of greed, the love of status, the glitter, glamour, fame, Facebook, YouTube, social media, WhatsApp, iPhone, Samsung, 3,000 square foot house, 4,000 square foot house, status race, corporate race, fear. This is what the dirt is. Why is the dirt like this? Because we don't consider these things as means, we consider them as our goal. But in actuality, there is only one end and goal, and that is, the rest is means. Am I against all of these? No. What I'm against is to make them as your ilah, as your goal, as your end. Keep them as your means. Your mirror will be clean. You will live a life, a day-to-day life, which is based on mercy, which is based on love, which is based on forgiveness, which is based on security, not insecurity. Chalo, I'll just give you the statement and you can think. I will not explain. The other thing that will make you courageous is to remember death. Fear of death will make you a coward. Remembering death will make you courageous. If you fear death, you'll become a coward. If you remember death, you'll become courageous. I'm really holding myself of not going further. But in what I had told you, that Muslims have become cowards, one of the main reasons is that they are all, most 99.9% are scared of death. That's why they're cowards. If they were to remember death, they will realize that they are not here for 60, 70 years, they are eternal beings. They have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They only have a very short span of time to be able to do their responsibilities. They cannot become lazy. They cannot have depression. They cannot have anxiety. They can have none of that. Why? Because there is not enough time. Why? Because death can come any second or minute. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's watching, who's listening, give us an opportunity for the sake of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas that we remember that we become and know and realize that we are dependent, that we are aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we get ourselves ready for the Hussein of the time that is going to need loyalty like the loyalty of Hazrat Abbas, who's going to need people who will submit to every single order of his, who will not say why, they will say yes. May we become the followers and the friends and the soldiers of the Imam of the time. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr.
We'll just do the dua. I'll request Brother Ali Abbas to do dua, and then we'll have the ziyarat.
الهی با بیمار داشته بلا جو بیمار ہو جلد پائے شفا الہی برائے امام زمان ہمیں حول مشاس دے تو امان قیامت کو مشور ہو با علی اٹھے قبر سے کہے کہ ہم یا علی اے پانجوانو مل شهادتان أحمد وعلي زهراء وحسن شبير أسلي إمام الزمان شبير أسلي إمام الزمان ایک ایک پہ صدا صلوات پڑھو صلوات صلوات و سلام یا امام زمان فرما و ظهور یا امام زمان صلوات السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد وابن الشهيد السلام عليك يا علي زين العابدين السلام عليك يا محمد الباكر وجعفر الصادق وموسى القاضم وعلي بن موسى الرضا ومحمد التقي الجواد وعلي النقي الهادي والحسن بن علي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسخر الله تعالى مخرجه وظهور العمر ورحمة الله وبركاته اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه طوعا وتمتعه طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.